As John Krasinski prepares to step into the beloved role of Jack Ryan, played by Hollywood heavyweights like Harrison Ford and Ben Affleck before him, let's look at how the eager CIA analyst was cast in the past.
Well, sir, I was just thinking that perhaps there's another possibility we might consider.
After Ronald Reagan rescued The Hunt for Red October from obscurity by mentioning it in a press conference, producer Mace Neufeld optioned Tom Clancy's novel. However, it took several years of pitching studios before he finally got a green light in 1990.
Sound collision.
His first call was to Kevin Costner with an offer to play the book's hero, Jack Ryan. Costner, however, passed on what he called, quote, more money than I had ever seen in my life, to focus on his directorial debut, Dances with Wolves. That proved to be a wise decision, as Wolves went on to win that year's Best Picture Oscar.
Actually, sir, I'm here at my own request.
Meanwhile, Neufeld and director John McTiernan, best known for Die Hard, moved on to their second choice, Harrison Ford, who countered that he would rather play the antagonist, Soviet submarine captain Marco Ramius. But the filmmakers already had Sean Connery in mind for that role and let Ford walk, turning their focus to his working girl co-star Alec Baldwin, hot off Beetlejuice, who would become the big screen's first Jack Ryan.
You son of a bitch!
The Hunt for Red October was a box office hit, and Baldwin initially planned to return to the role in future Clancy adaptations. However, when it came time to shoot the next book in the series, Patriot Games, negotiations with Baldwin became intense, and he chose to do A Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway, and producers went back to Ford, who this time accepted the role.
If I go down, you're going with me.
Ford returned as Ryan a second time in Clear and Present Danger.
I will destroy you.
8 years later, Neufeld set out to make a fourth film, The Sum of All Fears, and after Ford passed, his first choice for the role was Ben Affleck, who was shooting Pearl Harbor at the time with none other than Alec Baldwin.
You call it an homage, sir.
A what?
It was actually Baldwin who convinced Affleck to take the job, which he did only after also getting Ford's blessing.
I can arrange that.
Although that movie also fared well, it would be 12 years before another Ryan movie would hit theaters. For 2014's Shadow Recruit, there was more of a casting call for the part, and producers looked at Ryan Gosling, fresh from Gangster Squad, James Franco, coming off This Is the End, and Chris Pine, who had just finished his second Star Trek movie. Pine eventually won the role, and in a full circle moment, Kevin Costner was also cast, playing Ryan's mentor, Thomas Harper.
You know I have what you want. Put her on the phone.
Next up for Ryan is his first appearance on television in an origin story of sorts called Jack Ryan, and debuting on Amazon. John Krasinski was the first choice, but initially passed on returning to TV. However, once producers sent the first 4 scripts, he changed his mind and jumped on board, becoming the 5th actor to play Jack Ryan. Because, as Jim on The Office often said,
that makes sense.